Welcome into the Super Bowl opening line report, props edition. I am Drew Martin, joined by Teddy Covers. Guys, we are diving deep into the prop market, where some of these props are moving, our thoughts on them, answering your questions as well. So come join us in the live chat, comment below. And without further ado, we are less than a week away from the Super Bowl, TC. How you feeling? Teddy Covers, welcome on in, buddy.
I'm feeling great, Drew. I mean, Super Bowl's coming to me this year here in Las Vegas, which is something, again, when you think about like where that possibility ranked, I mean, it was 2015. I can't remember if it was 2014 or 2015, where Tony Romo was scheduled to be a host for a fantasy football draft in Las Vegas. And the NFL was like, no. You can't do a fantasy football draft. That was less than a decade ago. And to see from there to here, first we had an NFL team, and now we get a Super Bowl, and now betting's legal everywhere. It's a pretty significant transition, Drew. It really is, in the last 10 years from where the Super Bowl in Las Vegas would have been an impossibility. Would have been not 100 to 1 shot. That'd have been 1,000 to 1 shot. And here we are today.
It really is amazing to see how much it's changed, Teddy. Just from even like 2014 when I got into this business, having to leave the country at times. You know what I mean? It's just wild.
And unfortunately, when it comes to Super Bowl props, and we're going to talk about it, but I want to talk about it right at the top. The change over the last decade is not good for casual. I mean, casual bettors doesn't matter. It's not good for educated bettors necessarily. And this is why. We think back a decade ago, you didn't have props for every game. You didn't have props really at all until the Super Bowl. There was one book, the Westgate Superbook, who was really the only book that put extensive time and energy into their props, and everyone else either copied their numbers or put up bad numbers. So for wise guys, there was all kinds of opportunities out there. There's one book that's doing it. They're not doing it all the time. They're not doing it every week. They're somewhat unique numbers. And the people that are trying to copy them aren't that good. So there were opportunities not only at the Westgate with their openers, but with all the books that copied. There were a ton of opportunities. And there were many bettors, good bettors, who would go literally all in betting props on Super Bowl week. Every dollar they had by kickoff, it'd be on something, And, they might have been betting over 63.5 yards on this guy and then under 74.5 on the same guy. They're middles, but, excuse me. When all said and done, it was all a ton of action. There were a ton of good bets to be made. So what's happened in the last 10 years? Well, number one, we see props for every game now. We see a ton of props every Monday night, Sunday night, every Thursday night. Many other books besides the Westgate and Jay Kornegay staff and company are now making props every single week. So the lines we see prop-wise for the Super Bowl, they've been making them all season. They've been making them all the last 3 years and 5 years. So there's not that, wow, these guys aren't that good at making those numbers yet. They're going to be mistakes. The numbers are spot on. The other thing that's happened is that the books that copy, well, they've gotten better at it. All right. Fewer props or better price props. You can't pick off as many numbers as you could from alternate sports books back in the day. And the third problem you have is I heard Rufus Peabody talking the other day. He's like, yeah, we're getting 2 million down on the Super Bowl. That's what I'm expecting to get down, me and my group. The big groups are putting enormous amounts of money into Super Bowl props because historically they've had good return on investment. Even if in recent years it hasn't been quite as good, you look at the 10 and 20-year sample sizes, and these guys are putting down extreme amounts of money. What does that mean for the average bettor? Well, one of the biggest things is that all the numbers are getting picked off. Every bad number that opens is gone already. It's gone by the time you have a chance to get it. Whereas in the day, there wasn't quite as much money coming in quite as quickly on the Super Bowls, and you could run around town for a couple of days and pick off some mispriced props or props that are priced differently. All you're looking for is opinions in a number. You know, if everyone else has this guy priced at 63.5 yards over under and someone else has him priced at 66.5 yards over under, you got some variance there. You go over 63.5 or under 66.5. Those variances are getting picked off almost instantly, very, very quickly. So we're not seeing those type of opportunities. So for me personally, I think I've made fewer prop bets this year than I've ever made so far by today. I haven't made any, a handful, a really small handful. And most of it's on info that I'm getting from guys who are in sports books saying, hey, if you want to bet this, you better do it right now. So it's a limited prop card for me this Super Bowl for sure. And I really think it's important to note when the betting marketplace changes, like it has with Super Bowl props over the last 5 to 10 years, and changes significantly, you don't want to keep doing things the way that you were doing them 5 and 10 years ago. It's changed now. So I'm not going balls to the wall on props this year. I'm really not. I haven't seen the opportunities that used to be there. Modern marketplace, harder to find. Drew?
Yeah, for sure. More efficient, Teddy. I agree with you there. Like when I felt like I've had an edge, it seems like it changes faster. The same numbers aren't around as they were, say, the last time these two teams played in the Super Bowl, Teddy. I mean, the first drive punt before score, that was minus 105, because of the Super Bowl, everything going on with it and kind of affecting offense. Now it's like minus 130. And we're getting like huge changes to where that quote unquote value is a little bit sucked out of it. Teddy, anything else, just kind of overview on the props? And also I wanted to bring up something side and total here. At least it's surprising to me. San Francisco now minus 2-point favorite. Last time we talked, it was primarily minus 1. I thought it was going to pick them, if not an outside chance with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, whether it be Taylor Swift, Travis Kelsey. I just thought like the public would be coming in on the Chiefs. And it looks like at least there's a point move from last time we talked. It's on the Niners. That's surprising to me. Is it surprising to you?
So let me talk about side and total real quick here.
Okay.
You know me, and I'm not that quick. But let me talk about side and total before we get into props. Last week we were on, you're absolutely right. And I can tell you for a fact, 25 Super Bowls in Vegas, I've never seen a line move like the Super Bowl, like the line move we saw for the Super Bowl. I've never seen the first bets come in all one-sided on Kansas City. And then the second group of bets come in all one-sided on San Francisco. And that's exactly what happened last weekend. And, certainly Sunday night into Monday. We were talking on Monday, we were talking about pick'ems at some books. And when the line moves that Sunday night to Monday, when the opener moves in the Super Bowl, that's the direction it's going to go. It might change as people start coming into town the final weekend. But I've never seen it before, where the money came one way and then, boom, there was another group that said, or a bigger group that said, yeah, minus 1, that's our buy sign. Let's go with San Fran. So it's not surprising at all the wise guys like San Francisco in this series. When you look at the season-long stats, San Francisco has the better numbers. San Francisco has some elite numbers on both sides of the football. Well, obviously, when we talk about current form, Kansas City is the one that covered 3 in a row in the postseason, and San Fran went 0-2 ATS. So from a betting bandwagon standpoint, the Chiefs are the public side of this ballgame, and they have Patrick Mahomes. I can't tell you how many people were in the comments last week, Drew, talking about how the fix is in and Mahomes, the NFL won't let Mahomes lose. If you believe that, if that's your rationale for Kansas City, knock yourself out. My rationale is not about who the league wants to win. I don't think the league cares who wins in this ballgame. But the fact that we saw an initial deluge of KC money, almost immediately followed by a significant deluge of San Francisco money, that's not something we often see in Super Bowls. It really isn't. It was a unique line move last Sunday/Monday. The total I want to talk about here for a minute, too, because at 2 leading indicator books, one here in Vegas and one offshore, I've just seen this total pop to 48. It's 47.5 everywhere. And when 2 leading indicator books, and this just happened in the last 15 minutes, half hour. So when I see 2 leading indicator books, and again, we're talking about leading indicator books, these are the ones that tend to be wise guy centered, and the markets tend to follow them. But one in Vegas, one offshore have both moved to 48 on the total in the last 15 minutes/half hour. That may be a harbinger of things to come for this total. That is the first sign of sharp money for the over that I've seen, but it's real and it's out there right now.
I like that look, Teddy. Yeah, guys, 2 books moving here to 48. And as we get closer to kickoff, it wouldn't be surprising to me, Teddy, to see a little bit more over money, a dome, fast track. Weather's not going to be an issue. It's the Super Bowl. People like betting overs more than unders. So at least to me, it wouldn't be surprising. Huge shout out to the comments from last week, guys. We had Champaign, Illinois in the house. Tijuana, Mexico as well. Let us know where you're watching from in the comments below. And feel free to shout out any questions. We're going to answer them from last week's show in the comments below and also in the live chat. But Teddy, I saw you chomping at the bit there before we get to the props. Did you want to throw out anything with the total?
We were just talking about the total with how the 48s are there. So if you like over, 47.5 right now, widely available, might be worth a look. Again, if you like the over, I don't. So I'm not looking for overs to bet. I'm looking for unders to bet in this Super Bowl. And then again, from a side standpoint, we could see that public's still going to be on Kansas City. We could see Chiefs money before kickoff, taking the 2s back down to 1s. But yeah, this line sure feels like it's going to sit San Fran -1, -2 all week. That's my 2 cents on the money. I forget there was something else I was going to talk about, Drew, but it's already come and gone. So whatever it is, let it go. This week, there's so the brain is a little bit full right now. Yeah, we're waiting for Super Bowl to be over.
For sure.
Your brain gets full. I feel like my brain gets full this week. Like I'm trying to keep track of so many different players and so many different numbers. It gets fuller than usual.
Yeah. A lot going on. I know you got NBA college basketball kind of heating up as well, guys. So check them out, WagerTalk.com. A couple stats here. Andy Reid, Teddy, I saw 31-7 off the bye. Just throwing these stats out there, guys. And of course, having the extra preparation time, just wanted to throw it out. Kansas City, 19-1, fourth quarter unders their last 20 games. 15 of 57 Super Bowls decided by 1 score or less. That means, not many of the Super Bowls decided by 1 score or less. The better ranked defense, 46-11 in Super Bowls. Just some stats I ran out here on Teddy. And team to score last, winning the game 14-0. I think we actually talked about that one briefly last week. So, hey, man, just wanted to throw out some stats prop-wise. I got a couple circled, but did you want to throw out any props that have kind of tickled your fancy this week?
Sure. There's a couple that there's always a couple that stand out. I was looking at shortest touchdown of the game, under 1.5 yards.
Me too.
And that's one that you can find at a near pick-em price. It's cashed each of the last 4 Super Bowls. It's cashed 7 of the last 8 Super Bowls. This isn't, I'm looking unders more than over. So I'm not trying to bet a whole lot of touchdown props. But when we think about these 2 defenses and how good they've been in the red zone, and we think about the mentality of these 2 coaches, San Fran's second and goal from the 3. KC's second and goal from the 3. All right? You can easily picture a scenario for either or both of these 2 teams to say, all right, I'm going to run Pacheco the next 3 downs till we get in the end zone. I'm going to run McCaffrey 3 times so we get in the end zone. You can see that scenario. I can see that scenario playing out. And again, all it takes is a penalty in the end zone, the QB sneak, the 1-yard touchdown. Again, 7 of the last 8 Super Bowls and 4 straight. In my mind, shortest touchdown of the game under is one that I'm looking at. The 3 straight scores prop I want to talk about for a minute, because that's one that I had been playing pretty consistently year after year. Last year, we had that 38-35 shootout with wild momentum swings and all that. And it didn't cash. Neither team scored 3 straight times. And when you look at the way this is being priced, we're seeing 180s, 190s, $2. It hasn't been cashing in that range. It cashed for a long time in the last, 2, 4, 8 Super Bowls. Only 3 yeses. And you're laying -180 plus on it. So even in a game that you expect one side to have an edge, and this isn't a game where either side is expected to run away with it. Even a game where you see one side have an edge, we're not seeing the 3 consecutive scores. For the first time that I can think of, here we might want to look at the no for the 3 consecutive scores. You get a nice plus price on that particular prop. I talked to Art DeCesar over the Westgate Superbook. He talked about sacks. Sacks over has taken some early action. And again, we're talking about two teams that have legitimate pass rushes. Certainly Mahomes has been pretty good at avoiding sacks, Purdy as well. But we're not talking a number that's through the roof in this ballgame. And total sacks, given the nature of these two pass rushes, the over, Sharps have hit it, and I don't blame them. It's something that certainly makes sense to this better. There's another one that's been pounded as well. Score last 2 minutes of the first half. And this is another one of these prop results where you look at the recent number. We got 2 straight, 5 of the last 7. We have 2 offenses we trust to move down the field in a 2-minute situation. And again, the price that you're laying with this has been the minus 150 range of late. So certainly score in the last minute of the score in the last 2 minutes of the first half. That's one that has piqued my attention. But note the props I'm talking about. I'm not talking about player props necessarily. I'm talking about general props. The player props, I keep looking around for someone that's mispriced in any way, and I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing any of it. There was one that Andrew McKinnis talked about earlier today on WagerTalk today that I actually want to look at a little bit more. The Brandon Ayuk under. And in general, I want to target unders. Think about it. Everybody and their brother, all they want to do over this guy, over that guy, over this guy, over that guy. All right. This is a Super Bowl. I talked about conceptually, I believe it's going to be a low possession game. We're talking about 2 offenses that are very comfortable grinding first downs, taking 5, 6, 7 minutes to move down the field. And in a low possession game, I don't want to be betting a whole lot of overs. Brandon Ayuk as an under is someone that certainly makes sense, especially when we look at his recent number. He had the 51-yard catch last week on his back off the defender's face mask. Wasn't for that, he would have had 17 receiving yards. A week before, he had 32. A week before, he had 25. So it's not like Ayuk's in this form where every week he's getting a ton of attention. Certainly when you're designing a game plan to defend San Francisco, you have to pick and choose the weapons you want to allow to have chances. And given San Francisco's reliance on some of their other guys, Ayuk is a guy I wouldn't be afraid to play an under with when it comes to yards, rushing and receiving yards combined. I think it's 63.5, the prevailing current number. So there's a couple that have stood out to me, Drew, in early betting action. I'll be down on the strip again later today. We'll see what more we come up with.
Teddy, I have a couple questions for you guys, and want to throw out a couple exotic props as well that we'll kind of talk about that can be fun, a little bit of entertainment. But you said shortest touchdown under 1.5. That was one I was looking at. I didn't see it near pick'em price though, Teddy. The couple books I was looking at, it was like minus 150.
Well, I got a minus 120.
Nice.
Again, it takes a while. I mean, it takes but your point is exactly what I was saying at the top. All right. A lot of the props that used to be able to find, okay, it's priced at 120 here, or someone else got popped there at 150, but you can still find a 120 here. There's so much money in this market. All right. I talked about one group here, we're betting 2 million. That's one group. Another group's betting, another group's betting, another group's betting. There is so much money in these props because they can get down on them now at a real level. You don't find the price variances that you once did. They get bought up really, really quickly. One of the advantage that bettors had in the Super Bowl is that your live odds screens don't have everything on there. They're not well designed for Super Bowls. And when someone's trying to put a prop, like that's what, in my mind, Ralph Michaels' free prop sheet at WagerTalk is fantastic. And visit his page right now at wt.buzz/rm to download that for free right now. But one of the things that's great about it is that you don't see all that in one place. For all of these props, there's no central marketplace. There's no place, there's no website you can go and say, oh, well, this is what the numbers are now. Mm-hmm. You have to manually do it book by book, play by play, day by day, and they bounce around. The numbers bounce around all day. So because there's no clearinghouse for easy access to lines for this, it means that the guys who are sitting there just making rounds, going around, spending all day sitting there going around from book to book, and let's go through all the numbers. Let's go through all the numbers again. Those guys are picking them off quicker than we can find them, which leads for less betting opportunities. I mean, the marketplace is much more competitive now for those type of numbers than it was 5 and 10 years ago.
Yeah, I agree with you, Teddy. And guys, I want to throw out kind of like a philosophy here. One thing that I think is happening in sports betting overall is like somebody will come up with an opinion, and because content's getting bigger out there, people are getting more followers, a lot of people follow in on that bet and it moves the line a lot. I would not be surprised if this year, in years to come, people jump out big bets on one prop bet, tell everybody, and then wait until right before kickoff, because these markets are kind of, one-sided almost, because there's so much to choose from. And then by kickoff, you could almost bet the other side. Arbitrage isn't the right word, but like playing both sides of the bet. I almost think that might be a profitable thing to do with a situation like the Super Bowl. I don't know. I'm just kind of talking off the top of my head here, Teddy, listening to you kind of break down, some of these moves in the market, like under 1.5 for the touchdown. I mean, it's happened 7 of the last 8, like you just talked about, and it's moved a lot. It was minus 110 at FanDuel when it first opened, and now I actually saw it at a global book at like minus 180. That means like a lot of people are jumping on it, and if you did get on it at minus 110, you can jump on it on the other side for a profit no matter what happens. You know what? Are you picking up what I'm laying down, Teddy?
And so again, we talk about how the many of the betting groups go all in or close to it for Super Bowl week. That's what they're doing. You're betting this one at minus 110 because it's going to minus 180, and then you're betting the plus 150 back the other way, and you locked in a profit. A lot of the moves are arbitrage. All right, and especially at the open, the vast majority of moves are arbitrage. I used the example of, someone's line at 63.5 yards and someone else got up 66.5 yards. They're all betting the under 66.5 and over the 63.5 at the open, but those don't last long. They used to last sometimes even a couple of days. Now they last like 15 minutes and they're gone. So, finding those mispriced props, those arbitrage opportunities, and it's not even mispriced. The variance from one book to the next is what a bettor is interested in. That's the single most important factor, is finding that variance. You can bet this, you can bet this guy, you bet it. Either way you want to bet it, you'll find the best of the number. And the variance in the modern era of Super Bowls, even with the disparate markets, variance goes away really quickly. And that's a concern. That makes it harder to bet.
Teddy, a couple fun ones here. Score first 6 minutes of game. Yes, it happened last Super Bowl, but I think it was 6 straight before that. That's always a fun one. Your thoughts on that? Your thoughts on the coin toss, first play of the game, kind of that degenerate blood bets where you're not going to have to wait long. You win or lose, like ripping off a Band-Aid. What do you think of these type of bets?
So in general, the sharp money's going to go on the no score first 5.5 / first 6 / first 6.5 minutes. The 7.5 minutes, you don't see that as much with the under coming in, but certainly first 5. And again, there are various books that have it 5.5 versus 6 versus 6.5 versus 7 versus 7.5. So be aware exactly what you're betting, and it makes a big difference. It's worth a whole lot more juice to bet under the 5.5. No score first 5.5 than 7.5. For example, there was another one you talked about, Drew, that I wanted to touch on.
Like first play of the game, pass, run, or penalty. That
so
can be fun.
The no score in the first 5.5 minutes correlates strongly with punting before a score. The punting before the first drive be a punt. That is a prop that feels like every year it's juiced a little bit heavier.
Yeah, on the punt. That's the one I brought up. Yeah, it's moved a lot.
Yeah, yes, but again, I like the under in this game, not because I don't like either of the two offenses. This is a pace under for me. So it's not like I'm automatically, I want to bet everyone not to score. I want to bet no score in the first, the first drive to be a punt. First drive might be a touchdown. Wouldn't shock me at all. All right. But if it is, I expect it to be a long, slow, methodical drive. That's the way my handicap of the game is working, is both these two teams playing relatively slow football. And that sets for, even if they score a touchdown in the first drive, you can still cash a no touchdown first 5.5 minutes if that first drive goes as slowly as I hope it will.
Sure, Teddy. We got some people chiming in. National anthem length. Is it time for exotic props? I was going to leave it towards the end of the show. Teddy, do you want to throw out anything like on the field, box score related?
So I do want to talk about national anthem props, because we remember the controversy. Whatever you're, first of all, you're not betting those in the legal. You can't bet those here, can you? Have you seen any of those anywhere Teddy, in the regulated market?
Yeah, let me talk, guys, because I've kind of followed this for a while. FanDuel is putting up Gatorade color, which,
cool.
I mean, you go back to like the Nevada Gaming Commission, it has to be attributed to a box score. I've worked with sports books and I'm like, hey, let's do a show and let's put up something like this. And they come back to me with what's your bet? And then they come back and they say, no, we can't do that. Sorry, whatever. It's not attributed to a box score. I don't know how.
Let me jump in real quick, Drew. Just because there's an official NFL game log that after every game that you can find at NFL.com, and that has every stat and everything that's the official, and that's what the stuff gets graded off of. That's that official NFL game log that you can download from NFL.com.
So is the NFL putting the color of the Gatorade in their game log, and then now FanDuel
I don't think so.
So they're just putting it out there, and then they're just going to say like, "Hey, this is a free bet." Then that I would guess that's the only legal way they could do it, but I really don't know, Teddy.
The Nevada Gaming Commission is tough as nails. All right. Yeah. Other gaming commissions, maybe not so much.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, might be a
you can't get stuff through Nevada. You can't get something quick into Nevada. In Nevada, the rules are very, very strict in that regard. Elsewhere, perhaps not as strict. That's why you're seeing the prop that you are.
Sure. And in the global markets, we do have national anthem length. Go ahead.
So just be careful with national anthem length, okay? The number's right. What was it? It was 2 or 3 years ago where it came right on the number and was a half a second difference or a half second there, and where they graded at 157 or 158 and who's grading it. And you're only betting that in a global market where you have no recourse if they decide to grade you a loser. That's a recreational bet. That's not a real bet. I have no idea how long the national anthem is going to go. And the coin flip, again, if you want to bet the opening coin flip, fine. Knock yourself out. Super Bowl Sunday is a sports betting holiday. All right. It's Christmas for sports bettors. You're allowed to bet the opening coin flip. If you do it, find a minus 102, please, for the love of God. At least have your action bets be, lots of books offer reduced juice on the coin flip. You can find them. They're widely available. If you want to bet the coin flip, at a minimum, bet at reduced juice. All right.
Yeah.
And let's see. Do we have any action on which the tails or heads the last 14 Super Bowls? Let's see. I got it right here.
Yeah.
Oh no, I got deferred. Everyone's going to defer. By the way, the winner of the coin toss has deferred in
14 straight.
Each
right?
of the last 13 Super Bowls. New Orleans won and received the kickoff, and then in the second half, they had that one of the more famous onside kick recoveries in the history of the Super Bowl. So they actually get the ball first in both halves, and it made a big difference in that Saints-Colts game.
And another thing on national anthem, guys, because this happened to be last year, you got to make the bet by Thursday, because I believe they do the rehearsals on Thursday, Teddy, there in Allegiant Stadium, and there will be somebody recording it because it's kind of famous now. And once that's out, they all take it down. So if you want some action, don't wait until Saturday to get down on that one, because it is a fun one. To kind of watch that national anthem. Teddy, some more exotics here. I mean, Taylor Swift, a big part of this. I feel like we got to bring it up. Over under 5.5 times shown on live CBS broadcast. I'll tell you this, Teddy. I remember with Giselle and Tom Brady, I bet over because I'm like, oh, she's, top of everybody's talking about it, how many times she's going to be shown. And I think it was 4. She was only shown like twice. 5.5 is a lot to be showing one person. Keep in mind, it's only a live broadcast. It's went from kickoff to the end of the game, and she's got to be shown on the CBS broadcast. I'm actually going to go under. I'm probably in the minority here. It's just 6 times showing throughout the broadcast of the Super Bowl is a lot. That's why I think under. I could be wrong, guys. You can't get a lot of money down on these anyway, but I kind of like the under on that one, Teddy. Any more exotics out there?
There's a correlation for you. All right. If you're betting Taylor Swift under, maybe you bet some Kelsey under as well. Don't you think that every time Kelsey catches a pass, they're going to show Taylor Swift? Certainly every time Kelsey catches a touchdown, if you like the Kelsey touchdown, Swift's getting shown there. All right. But one would think if you're betting against Swift being on the scoreboard, maybe you bet against Swift being on the screen, maybe you bet against Kelsey getting receptions and or yards and or touchdowns as well, because every time he catches a pass, it gives the producer an excuse to throw Taylor Swift up there. And apparently she's popular. I've never heard of her, but apparently she's really popular.
Yeah, apparently. And I think the red lipstick is like minus 3,000, by the way. But
this is how old I am right now. All right. People are like, oh, they're referencing Taylor Swift songs. And I don't even get the references. I don't know any. I don't know a single one of her songs, dude. Not one.
Yeah, you do. No, you have to. Just from watching football games. I'll take the over. I really will. Guys, let us know in the comments. Teddy Covers would recognize
what
more
Taylor
than
Swift song do I know, dude? What is it?
22.
Exactly.
You would know that one.
Point
you would
well
know that
taken.
one.
Exactly.
No.
If I was 35 years younger, maybe, and female.
You've watched football every Saturday and Sunday. When they go to commercial, they're playing Taylor Swift songs.
Taylor Swift in the background? Yeah, sure. There's probably some song that I've heard of, but nothing that I know any words to or anything. I mean, nothing, dude. That's so. Drew, again, are you on the wrong side of 40 now? Are you still on the right side of 40?
I'm on the right side of 40 for a little bit longer, not much longer. I'm going to hold on to this one.
So just so you know, post 50, when it comes to pop culture, however bad you were, it gets 1,000 times worse. I know. I'm
already feeling it.
I know nothing, and I got a kid, but he doesn't. He's not a Taylor Swift fan either.
Okay, well, hold off for a little while on that. So awesome stuff, guys. Yeah, people agreeing with you. Some sharp kind of comments here from Chris. Depends on Kelsey. I thought that was a great look. Yeah, a little correlation there with the Taylor Swift and how Kelsey does. Teddy, man, awesome stuff overall, guys. We did actually have some questions here in the comments. Try to hit a couple of them before we shut it down. Teddy, people asking actually with the transition to NBA college basketball. We had Chris in the house last week asking, what sites do we use? We mentioned Ken Palm out there. And I saw that you typed in, the market is off of Ken Palm. I will say this, the totals market is starting to shift a little bit. Ken Palm will have a number, let's say it equals 140, and sometimes they'll go like 135. I didn't see that in years past. Some of that is just the market's becoming more efficient, like we talked about with Super Bowl props, but anything on kind of where to go for basketball stats as people start transitioning?
Well, certainly for, look, so Ken Palm is your primer for college basketball. All right.
Yeah.
Even if the numbers aren't fully accurate, Ken Palm, if you go to kenpalm.com, you'll have ratings for every team and all kinds of different ratings, offense efficiency, defense efficiency, pace, that are meaningful when it comes to, and again, but they're also baked into the numbers. You're betting on the margin where all the stuff is baked in. And we talk about, it's all baked into the number, but every previous game is baked into the number. And that's what you're seeing in the Ken Palm stats. For NBA, there are, there's so many sites. I struggle to give you guys one place to go to for NBA. Certainly the Hollinger NBA numbers, and Hollinger's hasn't done them in years, but they still have them on ESPN.com. If you Google Hollinger NBA, and those are real good numbers when it comes to offensive efficiency, defensive efficiency, pace of play, percentage of available rebounds. There's some pretty good advanced metric numbers there as well.
Okay.
Great question.
Yeah, for sure. And a couple good questions in here. I'm scrolling through. We got 6-point teaser. Any teaser action for the Super Bowl, Teddy, or is that really not an option?
I mean, from a side total standpoint, all I do is bet the teaser. I tease Kansas City up and I tease the total. I tease the total up, so I'm playing KC under with my teaser. No reason to go to the site and pay for that play, unless the analysis is there if you want my analysis for it. But you guys get it here free. That's what I got for Super Bowl. Thanks for watching this show all year. I teased KC, and I teased it with the under because of pace of play. I thought a lot about the total, which way I wanted to tease it. KC was an easy one, in terms of I'm getting all the key numbers working in my favor. So I knew I was teasing the Chiefs, and I got Mahomes as a dog and all of that. And if San Fran beats them, I got room to spare. They can beat it by a touchdown, and I still cash that side of it. So, I played teaser.
Another question here on tracking the props. Teddy kind of already went over it, but thank you for the question. And I'll tell you this, from working with programmers and developers a couple of years, it's very difficult to kind of get all this information from the sports books to put out on a screen. So
it's impossible.
I don't think that it's actually going to change in years to come. I think you just got to do it like Teddy talked about, manually, which is very difficult. But Teddy, any last kind of comments on that, finding where all these props are to get the best number?
It's really hard. And look, some books will have this one as a rushing prop, and some books will have it as a rushing receiving prop. And especially for your general props, you got to find where they're priced, and you're going through menus after menus. There's no easy answers. There's no right answers. It's more hard to do now. This got harder, that got harder. This is much harder to do now than it was 5 and 10 years ago. Period. And there's no sugarcoating it. It is. That said, it's still it's Super Bowl, man. People want to bet it. And when it comes to if you're betting props for real, you need to be searching. You need to be searching all week and finding your numbers. If you're not as worried about the prop, if you're looking for some action and have some fun in the Super Bowl Sunday, it is what it is. Keep your bet sizes low and you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's Christmas for sports bettors. I like that comment, Teddy. So huge shout out to everybody in the comments last week. All you guys liking the show. Please leave us a comment below for this week's show. We will be back next Monday. I believe we're also doing one before the NFL draft, most likely. I mean, the ball's in your court here, Teddy. And then the week that the NFL preseason starts. I believe that's our schedule, but correct me if I'm wrong, my friend. But love hearing from all the questions. We'll answer any next week. And let us know where you're watching from. That's always a fun part of the comments, going throughout the week and reading your guys' comments. So and let us know what you're betting, where you agree, where you disagree, and any comments on maybe where we're wrong. So let us know, guys. But Teddy, great stuff as always. I know we're up against it time-wise here, buddy, but I'll throw it over to you for final thoughts before we shut it down.
Yeah, I want to give you guys a couple of promos. They're really good promos right now. They're available this week only. And again, I always talk about, don't buy a play, buy a package. We got two really good offers right now. One is February. If you want a February package, every play, every day, every sport. It's $199 for the full month, normally priced at $299. Of course, you get the extra day as well. So if you want a taste, that is a value price package available at everyone's page. Not just me, everyone over at WagerTalk.com. And you can also, is there a promo code with that shit, Drew? I don't know if there's a promo.
No, I don't think so. No, it's right up there on the page. Yeah. Super Bowl to Super Bowl. Yeah. And if you get it now, you get the rest of the days up to the Super Bowl free. So so I was talking about
there's the February package and then the Super Bowl to Super Bowl package. The Super Bowl to Super Bowl is the best deal of them all. If you want to get on board with the capper and go for a full year, you get every play, every day, Super Bowl to Super Bowl. For less than $100 a month, about $3 a day. If you want a capper and you want to stick around for a long-term investment with that capper, this is the best deal you're going to find at WagerTalk.com. And was there? Let me see. I know there was promo code out there for that February one, wasn't there? Let me just check real quick. I apologize. I'm supposed to have this. No promo, no instant access, no promos, no codes. So you can get the $199 deal. No promo code needed, or the full year Super Bowl All Access. Again, no promo code needed. Just visit my page, Drew's page, or any other 29 cappers at WagerTalk.com.
He's Teddy Covers. I'm Drew Martin. Guys, we will be back next Monday. A little recap and talking about futures for next season in the NFL. And then we'll be back after that for the NFL draft. Then it's next year, guys. NFL opening line report. So it's been fun. Please smash that like button. Comment below. For Teddy Covers, I'm